Hello. As we continue our reading in the book of Acts, we find ourselves in the last section of chapter 4, where God reveals to us how the early church lived, how those early believers conducted themselves. Our reading for today is verses 32 through 37 in chapter 4, and is titled, They Had Everything in Common. Now the full number of those who believed were of one heart and soul, and no one said that any of the things that belonged to him was his own, but they had everything in common. And with great power the apostles were giving their testimony to the resurrection of the Lord Jesus, and great grace was upon them all. There was not a needy person among them. For as many as were owners of lands or houses sold them and brought the proceeds of what was sold and laid it at the apostles' feet. And it was distributed to each as any had need. Thus Joseph, who was also called by the apostles Barnabas, which means son of encouragement, a Levite, a native of Cyprus, sold a field that belonged to him and brought the money and laid it at the apostles' feet. So far, our text. Now, it's interesting that people, they take a look at this text and they see what happens when people give everything that they have to the church. We see that no one had any need. Now, sad to say, this did not continue because we just are not able to give everything to the church for so many reasons. But one thing I really think that's more important than giving what you have to the church is what is recorded earlier in verse number 32, when it says, Now the full number of those who believed were of one heart and soul. And no one said that any of the things that belonged to him was his own, but they had everything in common. Could you imagine the entire church on earth believing with one heart and soul? They all believed in the same thing. They believed that Jesus is the Christ, the Son of God, who died, resurrected from the dead, and ascended into heaven. And now, all of those who trust and believe in this good news about Jesus will be saved, because they turn to God and ask for the forgiveness of sins, and they receive it on account of Jesus' sacrifice. This is being of one heart and soul. What a wonderful thing for everyone in the church to believe in the same thing. It's so sad that nowadays so many churches, so many denominations, so many congregations have turned away from this truth. God's blessings.